looking brilliant, Phil. You broke your dog, Kira.
Oh, Phil,
I think belonging, as a young person, it felt like trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Whereas belonging now is being in a place where I can be myself.
Hey everyone, welcome to Youth Vlog. We're in the middle of setting up for our massive Bounce Battles social, and we want to give a little test out to some of this stuff before we got going, so let's check it out.
So we've got the sweeper, goes round, you have to jump, but not get knocked out. Next one. Eric, you have to throw, make sure you don't land in your little ball bit. Demolition ball, don't get knocked out by the massive giant inflatable ball. Hungry hippos, you have to grab the balls back, grab back, you're on a bungee run. Twister, you have to put your hands and feet on the same colours like that.
Do a flip.
Wow.
It's inflatable heaven.
This one's really dangerous. You have to like stay on the line and you might die.
Matt's desperate to get in the vlog.
Right, can you just press the button?
Are you going to get told off if you press it? Are you going to press it? Don't press it, Mike. You get told off.
Does it go high? Yeah, there's a button here. Okay, I'm a bit scared it's going to fly.
Yeah, you can
look,
press
it
that.
left.
Are you allowed to press that, Jake?
No, not really. I think the man's going to tell me off. But I'm loving it. Wow, come on. Whoa. See, that is cool.
Yeah. I thought you meant you're going to get told off, Phil. You're being naughty.
No, what it is
Jake, you're going to take a slap to the head on the sweeper. It's Extreme Hungry Hippos, the most balls in your bag wins!
Extreme Hungry Hippos.
Alright, let's just go as ready as, okay. Well, I don't know about that.
12 seconds later.
So, moral of the story is, all the leaders cheat, no one wins, never play against the leader.
Guys, we've got a very special new staff member to introduce you to today. Bella, come here. Come here. Bella!
The camera shy.
She doesn't even want to come in this room.
You broke your dog, Kira.
Oh, Phil, what did you do?
Come on. You might regret this afterwards.
Come on. Oh, wow.
Sit down.
Then she do a flip.
Spin.
Close enough.
Oh, it's so well. How do you feel about being part of the team? Is there anything you want to say?
No. With the PRAY acronym, you know. So I think that was helpful to
Yeah, that.
So Kira is a proper coffee maker, a barista, so she's going to teach us how to do some latte art. I'm thinking squiggles, I'm thinking trees, I'm thinking Phil's face on a coffee. So let's see what happens. I would.
My dog crazy when I
Sideways and get back. So Kira's going to teach you,
Yeah.
and then you're going to compete against Alice.
Sit down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to sit down. You want to be involved?
I am going down. I have no idea what I'm
taking
doing.
part.
So show us how it's done by an expert, a professional.
Pro. I feel under pressure.
Yeah. Bella
need
wants
to
to
watch,
know.
Kate.
Bella wants to
You
know.
need to put down the toy and she will jump at you. Basically, I want you to succeed. So the higher you pour,
Yeah,
the less
milk.
foam is going to come out. We want to start off pouring a little bit higher, and at the end you get all the patterns when you bring it right down. Just watch me. Give it little circles. Some very good milk. It's not that great, you know.
How did you do that?
Should have got
So that's the
It's not that great, guys.
that's the marker.
So,
This is professional.
No, it's not.
it's,
Not a professional anymore.
Do you reckon you can top that?
I'm a slow learner. Start high and then bring it down, circles and down the middle.
Nailed it, Phil.
It's
Okay,
too
there's
challenging
no-
for me. Okay.
It's just milk.
Alright, so, alright.
It's looking brilliant, Phil.
Where's the frothy stuff?
I mean, do you know what, Phil?
See?
I would have
bad.
hired you.
Oh, there's no ears, nose, Bella's
Wow.
eyes, and then her tail.
Hooray!
Right in the center of
Last minute cramming. I'm expecting this.
Tilt it, pour it high.
Take some aim.
And then when do I need to stop?
Not quite yet. Oh.
Kira?
A bit more. Yeah, now.
Okay.
What are you doing, Alice?
Now you're gonna spill it.
There you go, now it's going to come. Now make the most of it.
You know what? You guys
What
aren't
are you
all that
doing?
bad.
Okay. Now, I think we might need to go to the comments to find out who they think is the best. Comment below
Definitely
if
mine.
you hire either of these
Definitely
people.
mine.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
You got
Cheers.
Casper the
Ka-ching.
friendly ghost.
I have.
Spill.
You know what? That milk's never tasted so good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty epic.
As always with Youth Vlog, want to have a chat with you guys about stuff that's going on in the world, and I read some frankly quite frightening statistics the other day, and I want to get your opinion on them and what you think about them. But basically the stats would tell you that we've been through what people are calling a loneliness epidemic. And let me just read what it says. It says, as of April-May 2020, 35% of young people said they feel lonely often or most of the time, despite spending 3 hours or more on social media. And
35%.
35%, so just over a third of young people. Another stat said that 69% of young people aged 13 to 19 said they felt alone often or sometimes in the last fortnight, and 59% feel they have no one to talk to often or sometimes. It's quite sad when you think about it. Like,
That's at the peak of lockdown.
yeah,
Okay.
but actually don't think that. I don't know how much lockdown actually affects that. Probably a bit. But I think the reality is we live in quite a lonely world, and I think a lot of people are really searching for belonging and looking for places to belong. So I just want to start off with, what does that word mean to you, that word belonging? What does that word mean to you guys?
I think being in a place where you feel accepted, so you can be yourself and know that people love you for being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really key, and that's something that I'm thinking about the answer because it's changed. from when I was younger. I think belonging as a young person, it felt like trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Whereas belonging now is being in a place where I can be myself and feeling like I belong in that place without having to adjust what I wear or how I act or what I say to fit in. It's just belonging as who I am and feeling comfortable in that.
I think so much of our identity is found in our sense of belonging and where we belong and who we surround ourselves with. Do you think that's a good thing? How much of our identity do you think we should put in our sense of belonging or our group of friends or where we belong?
You need to be really careful in it. You said something like making sure we don't put our identity in the stuff we do, if that makes sense. Like, it can be so easy for me to be like, my identity is based around what I do in KingsGate as a youth worker, or my identity is based in making coffee, and then those things are taken away from you and you're like, I don't have an identity anymore. It's like, no, those things aren't my identity. Like, my identity is, first and foremost in God. Those things just make it better. It's being okay when those things get taken away from you, and if relationships break down and that relationship gets taken away, your identity isn't in things. It's in God, because that's the one thing that's never going to change.
Have you guys experienced loneliness? Maybe recently, maybe during lockdown. Have you guys experienced loneliness, and how do you deal with that?
I've learned that I need to be really intentional about connections and not just wait to be invited to stuff, asking people for coffee, ringing someone, FaceTiming someone, and realising that social media doesn't help my connections with people like it does when you're chatting to someone intentionally, when you're meeting someone intentionally. You can feel like you're learning stuff about people, but it's not how are you really doing? They're asking, it's just not the same. But particularly in lockdown, I had to be very intentional about, can I ring you? Can I FaceTime you? Can we catch up? And not just seeing it through a window of social media. Because otherwise I think I would have felt really lonely. But I've had to put myself out there.
I think even with social media, even in-person stuff, actually you can have lots of people around you and still feel lonely. You still feel not understood or not experiencing like real friendship. There's so much surface stuff online as well, and you can be forgiven to think you've got lots of people around you, therefore you're not lonely. But actually, my experience is you can be surrounded by people and yet still feel that, and still feel that sense of not having something in terms of a deep friendship, deep relationship.
So talking really practically then, we talked about kind of being intentional about how we connect with people. What are some other practical things we can do to find belonging, to kind of defeat loneliness in our lives?
I think one of the things I've experienced, particularly with young people, is, well, for all of us, you can, if you take the focus off yourself and put it onto others. I mean, it's a pandemic of loneliness in a sense, but if we can learn to not focus all on ourselves and all of what we've not got, and just start looking at others and thinking, what are their needs? How can I serve them? And I find sometimes, breakthrough in loneliness comes when we can just change our mindset from us onto others. And I think, that's been a real practical thing that can help people. And knowing that your loneliness, might be just circumstantial, or, it's not an unending thing. It can be a temporary thing, just a season that you go through. And I think, friendships, particularly in young people, change so frequently, and you can often feel on the outside and friendships move on and change, but often just hang on in there, kind of, it's okay. You can feel lonely and just hold on to time, and things will change, and there'll be a change to loneliness. So.
And I think a key in that, something I definitely experienced in growing up, like as a young person, as a teenager, like you find yourselves in groups of friends. But as you start to get older, the groups become less important. It's your individual connections with people that actually stay. I've got so many friends from school that I just don't talk to anymore. But there's one or two that I'm still like best mates with. Like those individual connections are so important, and actually it's less about how can I please this group, how can I fit into this group, but it's actually how am I developing my connection, my relationship with this person on an individual level. So if there is a person watching this today who is feeling loneliness, like I don't have a sense of belonging, what would your one piece of practical advice then be?
One piece. Firstly, just love yourself as God loves you. You know, it's likely a season that God will bring you through, and pray for that friendship, that one friend that could change everything. But I guess, you know, the greatest way you can build those friendships is invested in those friendships, and things like LifeGroup, where they're all about building relationship and friendship. It's all about loving one another, serving one another, encouraging one another. So if there's ever a place to get connected, a LifeGroup would, you know, be a place to do that. And it, you know, it can be a bit awkward to start, but it takes time to build relationship, you know, but over time friendship comes, and then all of a sudden there's like a click, and you feel like family, and you feel connected, and it is authentic friendship. It's not surface, but those things come with time. But I guess you just gotta get a bit uncomfortable in the first place to be on the front foot to enter that scenario.
And you'll probably find you meet people that you wouldn't ordinarily just make connections with. Like my adult life group, I love it. It's a group of people from different jobs, different walks of life that have just come together every week. And I know in the lockdown, like that was a key thing for me. Every week I'd go on Zoom, and that was online, it didn't need to be in person. I'd go on Zoom and get to connect with these people and see how they were doing, tell them how I was doing, like share the highs, share the lows, pray with each other, have a solid group of people that you just know are always gonna be there.
I think it's important to remember, you know, it's not God's intention for us to feel lonely, to be alone. God has relationships and friendships for us. And sometimes we just need to be patient, keep praying, you know, keep seeking out those friendships and being a friend to people to know that friendship. So, you know, God doesn't want us to suffer in silence. He wants us to journey life together with others.
Shall I pray for us?
Go for it.
Come on.
And for our young people as well. God, we want to thank you that we can have a relationship with you, Father, that we never have to feel alone, because God, you are always with us. And I just want to pray for our young people, God. I want to pray that they know that they belong in you, that first and foremost, we belong in you, God. And I pray for any young person that is feeling lonely right now, God, that you will draw close to them. And as they pray for friendships and relationships, Father, you will place people in their lives that they can journey with and do the highs and lows with, Father, and find belonging with you at the centre. Amen.
Hey, so I'm just about to start editing this week's episode of Youth Vlog, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to extend a personal invite to you to join in with a life group. If you want to be part of a life group, you can be. If you're in school years 7 to 13, a life group is for you. A life group is a place where you can find belonging, where you can make friends, and we can learn more about our faith together. So if you want to join a life group, there's going to be a link somewhere on the screen around here. It's going to be in the description as well. We meet every week on our Discord server, and also if you can make it to one of our in-person locations in Peterborough, Cambridge or Leicester, we meet weekly there as well. We'd love to hang out, we'd love to get to know you, and we'd love to see you as part of a life group. See ya.
Thanks so much for watching KingsGate Youth on YouTube. Don't forget to like us, maybe drop us a comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more content like this, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at kingsgate.youth. We'll catch you in the comments.